Can you tell me a little bit how you're doing now that George is gone? I asked. No, because even if you didn't know you were being his accomplice, you were still being his accomplice, my mom answered. Well, it's like how no one in this room is allergic to peanuts, but we're not allowed to have peanuts in this room because of how life-threatening peanut allergies are, said my Aunt Catherine. Exactly, my mom said. That basically summarizes it, said my Aunt Diane. That doesn't sound like the same to me. Nothing was life-threatening by me transporting George here, I exclaimed. Either way, that is how it is, because allow me to quote Popeye, I am who I am, said my mother. Just a reminder, your mother has autism too, said my Aunt Catherine. Why didn't you want him here, I asked. Because when I'm in the hospital, I don't want to be the parent, because all I can put my mind on when I'm in the hospital as a patient is the fact I am in the hospital as a patient, and I want to get out of the hospital, my mom explained. Another symptom of her autism, said my Aunt Catherine. You had 3 sisters here. Couldn't they be the parent? I asked, now really beginning to get frustrated. Because it is not their responsibility, said my mom. Your Aunt Heather just drove him back home, I pointed out to my mom. Well, really, it was my mom's sister, Heather. That isn't parenting. Anyone would do that if I told them to. Also, you are one of the most ignorant people I have ever met, my mom said. Why? I asked. Because I am the parent right now, and I just told you that I don't want to be the parent because I'm in the hospital, and all I can put my mind on is the fact I'm in the hospital, and I want to get out of here, my mom said. She's in the right there, my Aunt Diane says. I'll go after two questions, I said. Fine. Go ask him and get your ass out of here, my mom said. Why didn't Aunt Heather force me out a few minutes ago, I asked. Because she is nicer than I am, which makes her less of a person than I am, my mom said. Second, is there any other punishment you want me to serve? I'm sorry I was George's accomplice, but I didn't mean anything wrong, but I will serve a proper punishment. I asked. Yeah. Yes, you and George lost your privilege to enter the United States for a week. And that also includes Sam's birthday and for exercise, my mom said. What? I said I could do a punishment, but that's a full-blown restriction. That I didn't agree to, I yelled. I normally wouldn't discipline you like that, but just because of the safety concern of taking him out at night, when I only want you to take someone George's age out before 6 p.m., also, that is 3 questions. Now you leave, my mom said. No, you can't discipline me that way. I didn't know, I said. Remember the peanut allergy analogy? Well, that is how it is. Just like how if you kill someone by accident, you still need to spend some time in jail, my mom explained. Are you aware I have been trying to spend this day to prove to you how that even though Marcus is gone, and I am Dr. Morcassius now, that I have been trying to prove to you that I am not an asshole all day, I asked with my face turning the color my cloak is. Marcus, my mom said intentionally to bother me, leave. You need to do as your mother says, my Aunt Catherine says. Dr. M, we don't want to start a fight, my Aunt Diane said in a warning tone. I then bring my cane up and pointed at the remaining of my mom's 2 sisters as a signal for them to shut up like a gun. Do you understand what I am saying? I asked my mom. I do. Now leave, my mom said. This is bullshit. You have been This is the bullshit you have been pulling that turned me into this persona. I recommend you stop now and let this whole incident go, I recommended. Now my Aunt Diane is beginning to try and push me out the door. She just made a fatal mistake she put her hands on me, when everyone who knows my autism knows I do not like being touched. My cane then shot up in the air. Now I am mad. Nobody move, I yelled in the room. Can you calm down by leaving, my Aunt Diane asked. You should have thought about that before you put your hands on me. You know I don't like being touched, I said. You should have thought about that before refusing to leave when I told you to, said my mom. Shut up, I said. Hey, don't talk to your mother, my Aunt Catherine said. I won't for $100, I said. From here on, this is where my functioning brain cells fall asleep. I will leave for $100. You can easily afford that, Mom, with your high salary, I said. No, my mom said with a look of disgust coming across her face. Who asks for money just to leave a room, my Aunt Diane asked. I then pointed my wooden cane at my Aunt Diane. I do. You can feel free to bail my mom out, I offered. No, my Aunt Diane said. Dr. M, you need to leave or I will call hospital security, my Aunt Catherine warned. You wouldn't do that. You're my aunt. Aunts don't call the cops on their kids, I said. 478, 2594, my Aunt Catherine warned. Is that pre-dialed, I asked. Yes, my Aunt Catherine warned. $100 and we can forget any of this ever happened, I said. Then I heard my Aunt Catherine hit the send button. Everything between now and when I left the hospital room took place over the course of 30 seconds. I screamed at the top of my lungs. Then doctors and nurses came running in. What's going on? Asked one of the doctors. I then hit that doctor in the head with my cane, and that knocked him out. The security guards are still on here, but now people, including my aunts, are trying to pin me to the ground when they don't know I'm a master at escaping people who pin me down. I then hit everyone in the head and back with my cane who was trying to hold me down, including my aunts. Blood was at this point gushing from all of them who were lying on the floor, and at this point, except my Aunt Diane who was trying to grab onto me. I then hit her in the head with my cane, and that didn't stop her, so I began trying to take her purse off her so I can get to her wallet for the $100. I get the purse and grab the wallet out of it, and I feel my Aunt Diane actually biting my arm, and I just beat her away, and to my convenience, there is a $100 bill in her wallet. She then tries to tackle me down like a bear, and then I hit her in the head with the cane, and blood gushes, and she's knocked out. Now security has arrived at the room, and they began running toward me. Because I am smart, I know that with my cloak, I can make this work fine. I then began running to the window, and then I stick the cane out right away in front of me, and then the window shatters and I go through it, and my cloak acts like a parachute, and I land on my feet after a 3-story drop and make a run for it. Now things will be happening in normal time. As I began running away from the hospital, but I'm still in the parking lot, I notice security begins running after me, so I decide to run even faster. As I was approaching Paulina Station, I noticed a southbound Brown Line train was pulling in. I scanned myself in, run up the stairs to catch it, and I made it. As the train began pulling out, the security guards were chasing me on the street, were scratching their heads and feeling upset they missed me. That also proved to me that I was not going to be followed, so I was safe. As I began riding my way back toward the Chicago Loop, I took a look at what I had. I checked my phone. It is fine and not cracked from the impact at all. And lets me know it is 10 at night Central Standard Time. I still had my passport. My clothing basically had no glass in it because most of the glass fell before I jumped through, but it did tear my cloak up a bit. So I'm going to need to have it fixed, and my wooden cane broke, but it is still in one piece, but not for much longer. Even though it is broken, I do thank it for breaking my fall. Now my main question is, where should I go to sleep tonight? I cannot go back to Robbins because I feel discipline awaits me there. I have only $100 to budget, and I expect to be out of Robbinsog for more than one night. So a hotel room is out of the question. I also feel like I need to go somewhere to hide, so maybe downtown Chicago altogether is out of the question. That was when I realized where I was going to go to. I need to go to a place where our family never goes. When I arrived in the Loop, the first station I arrived at was Washington and Wells. When I got off the train, I looked both ways to make sure I wasn't being followed, and it proved to me that I wasn't, and went to the other platform and waited and boarded the Pink Line train to 54th and Cermak and got off at 54th and Cermak, and then, despite the fact I'm in the ghetto of the south side of Chicago, I then found a couple of benches by the station on Cermak Road and tried to sleep there for the night.